This brush pen is called the KARIN Brushmarker Pro. So KARIN is the manufacturer, and these are the brush pens that have liquid ink inside of them. So let's go over some of these characteristics. Just looking at the brush tip, you can see it's a fairly long brush and it's a little bit rounded on the edges, so it's not a straight up triangle. It has a little bit of roundness. These are felt tip. They have a nylon tip, and they are large. These are very flexible, so once I show you them, they're really soft, and they're water-based for these colors. So there are 60 colors right now. I will show you a few of them. And the neat thing is that they come in, you can get them in sets. So for example, this one was called Sky Colors, and it came with different colors of the sky, or I think there's one called Flower Colors, or you can get the huge set of all of them. Now there are metallic ones too, which we'll talk about in a minute, but first let's show you some demonstrations of the colors. So let's look at just how soft these are. They're super soft and flexible, and they're really juicy. So this paper that I'm using is pretty thin, and this is probably going to start to bleed through it, but it's almost like you're writing with paint. So one of the cool, and you can see it's absorbing pretty quickly into the paper. It's very liquidy, which is going to make this next part a little trickier to show you, but they are really neat for blending. So if you take two colors and you write something next to each other, then these colors, okay, this paper isn't going to work as well as I want it to, but the colors can blend pretty well together because they're water-based and because it's like liquid paint on the inside. So if you're using paper that's a little bit thicker, this is marker paper, you can see right through it, but a little bit thicker paper, then you'll definitely be able to get some better blending results. But these colors are super juicy, so you can kind of tell from here that there's liquid like ink inside, which makes them, you kind of have to be careful because they can get all over the place. Like you can maybe see some splatters here on my page. They are pretty expensive and they're fairly new, so there's a lot of people talking about them, and they're really interesting because they are so juicy and so blendable. One thing you need to know about these colors is that you need to store them vertically. So you need to store them standing upright. Now there are also metallic ones of these. So these metallic ones are a little bit different. They come in this nice tin. There are 10 colors. And these you actually store horizontally, so just like it is in this tin right here. So the non-metallic ones you want to store upright, the metallic ones you would store horizontally. And the metallic ones are not water-based, they're pigment, so that makes them permanent. And these actually say on them to shake before use and to store horizontally, and always make sure that you're putting the pen cap back on really well. So these show up a lot better on black paper, but they're just as juicy. In fact, they might even be more juicy and liquidy than the regular colors. They're really soft, so the tip is kind of difficult to get some of the thin strokes sometimes, but you can get a nice contrast and get some super thick strokes if you lay this on its side. So the metallic ones come in 10 colors, and the regular colors come in 60 different colors. Okay, so 60 regular, and then 10 metallic, and then also make sure that you know that the metallic ones are pigmented, so they're not water-based. So store them upright, except for the metallic, store horizontal. So if you decide to get these, then it will tell you on the package exactly how to store them and use them, so you don't have to memorize this, but there is a difference, so I just want you to be aware of that. One other thing about these is that they kind of give you sort of a more rounded look, so instead of getting really nice square tops, you can see a little bit of roundness, and that's just because of the shape of the nib is a little bit rounder than some of the other brush pens that are more pointy. But that is the KARIN Brushmarker Pro brush pen.